Now let us consider smart home and smart meters and discuss privacy in that context. What is smart home? Smart home is the management of a networked house. Networked house technology by means of controllers. And this is a picture. There are a controller, there are many different services, lighting, entertainment, electronics, heating or air condition, windows and doors, alarm systems, appliances. And by means of a controller, all these elements are connected to each other and can be electronically switched on, switched off, can be controlled. Also automatically, depending from different events. For example, heating could be closed or could be started, alarm could be raised and others. The smart home solutions which come to the market also use cloud technology. Use cloud technology to facilitate the management of this home technology for the user. So the user needs not to run big computer systems to control this. He has his controller and via a connection over the internet to the cloud, these control the information and time and situation and measurements from the sensors. They are processed, they are sent to the cloud, they are processed there, and then certain actions are done. Typically, the systems are offered by different manufacturers, so the data of the systems are sent over the internet to that manufacturer's server. They do the computation and they do determine next action and time of that net action. They send eventually information to the user, and then the things are running automatically, and the user has a chance, the owner of the flat has the chance via a management device with a web interface to start activities, to switch on light, to switch off light, to install, to configure that if a certain event happens, then automatically some actions are done. So smart home solutions use cloud technology. So the controllers of the smart home system are always connected to the manufacturer's server via the internet, and the user can manage the smart home system from any location, so he does not need to be at home to switch on lights there. He can do this from any place, from any location, using via the internet and the server in the cloud of the provider. When we look, what does mean, what are the consequences for privacy and security? Then of course the manufacturer has access to all the user data, and the manufacturer can edit it. So for example, smart home controllers can also have vulnerabilities, and we will see some examples that they have vulnerabilities, so that the home, via these vulnerabilities of the smart home systems, of the smart home controllers, can be attacked. For example, with a denial of service attack. So there was a publicly discussed case with My Casa Verde Light, and there is a number of vulnerabilities that can be misused, a number of vulnerabilities that were found and that can be misused by an attacker. For example, the vulnerability CVE detected 2013 4861 shows that an attacker can read any data from the file system, including the hashed password, the passwords that are needed to prevent access by unauthorized persons. Another vulnerability says that guest users can change firmware and can download all the settings of these devices. And of course, if they can change the firmware, they can use this as a basis of an attack, or they can download the settings to get insight about all these control mechanisms, for example, also the settings of an alert system. Another, in a short time, another vulnerability of this very light product was published. There is no authentication necessary to run arbitrary malicious code from the LAN as an administrator. As soon as an attacker can access the system as with administrator rights, then he can install and run any kind of code, also malicious code. Not enough. There is one more vulnerability that makes it possible that attackers can apply this attack method, this cross-site request forgery. We discussed this in our course. Finally, the manufacturer has not published any patches for the device. So here, all these vulnerabilities, typically, as soon as they are published, the vendor is forced to come with an update to prevent future users of his system, here in that case of the very light system, to be not attackable via these vulnerabilities. There are more weak spots considering this micarta very light. The software that is used to implement the services, that is based on an obsolete OpenWRT operating system, the OpenWRT 10.03. So all vulnerabilities in that operating system are same time vulnerability again various components and libraries of the Linux systems which are relevant for this system. So not only the specific vulnerabilities, but also the vulnerabilities of the basis operating system can be misused by an attacker to attack such a very light solution. And attacking such a smart home solution is attacking the home of the user to take influence on the heating, on the lighting, on all the systems run in that home. So where light is accessible, that's another very serious point, which is taken as a sample that one needs to be very careful considering and implementing and installing such a smart home solution. This where light is accessible through the manufacturer's server. So the idea is clear. The manufacturer wants to have the possibility for remote maintenance. But also others, gateways, other ways, other people, unauthorized typing, can use this to attack a system. The secret key for remote maintenance via SSH is in the same for all devices and are stored on the device. So getting access to one device gives the attackers the possibility to get the secret key also for all, which fits to all the other devices. So in the moment an attacker knows a valid device ID, may also be guessed, for example, the attacker's numbers +1. The attacker can gain full access to the smart home controller. And this is terrible if you imagine it's your home and there's from outside so easy to manipulate your home and the systems in your home. If we look for such a smart home, then smart TVs are a component of this smart home. So a TV that is not only used as a TV, but also provides a possibility to control other devices in a home. So not only smart home controllers, But also smart devices have some problems with privacy and security. And I give 2 examples. One is the Samsung Smart TV. The Samsung Smart TV is able to listen to all conversation and other noises in the room. In the moment, the voice control is activated. The voice control, which provides a service that one can speak with the Samsung Smart TV, for example, to change the program or to look for something. But this technique to be working, that listens to all conversations that happens in the world. And the spoken words are then transmitted to third party. So all what's spoken in that room is also accessible for people one do not know, who can listen to what's going on. Or another smart TV, the LG TV. The LG TVs sends various user data to the manufacturer in order to show smart ads. So what they want to do, of course, they want to fulfill all the wishes of a user. So they want to get as much as possible the data of their user to exactly show them some ads which exactly seem to fit for that user. And of course, this is a targeted advertising activity. So the information is also transmitted when the corresponding setting is disabled. This is even more scandalous. You have the possibility, you are informed that this is possible to send the data, and then there is a possibility to switch off. But the user is thinking you have switched off, but in reality it's not switched off. So the transmitted data, what are these? These are, for example, the TV channels that are watched, how long this TV channels are watched, the file lists of connected USB sticks or of hard disks that are used to use the screen to see something, search requests. All this is collected and transmitted to the producer, to the manufacturer of the smart TV. There are more smart devices in the future homes. Smart meters. Smart meters are consumption meters with a network connection for electricity or for gas or for water. The idea is that it's more easy to get access to these meters, that the provider is also able to provide different conditions, for example, in daytime and in nighttime. This is impossible or almost impossible with the analog consumption meters. Typically, they are read 1 or 2 times a year. A smart meter is constantly connected with the energy supplier, and so even in the moment, for example, if a strong wind and wind-generated power is available in a big amount, then the energy supplier can decrease the price to encourage people to consume more energy. So the supplier recognizes exactly the energy supply in a timely manner and can optimize tariffs. This is the idea behind, but the backside is that he also gets access to the activities of the people living in that flat. So they also use counting procedures, forecast, invoicing, and typically the tariffs open up and consumer saving opportunities. This is the attraction for the user. But if we look to the privacy aspects, then we will see that there is a backside. Here is an example of such a smart meter, which is connected to the internet, which sends data to the energy supplier, about the usage of the energy, and the supplier can send updates, for example, of the tariff tables. If we look to the privacy aspect, then we see a lot of problems around such smart meters. So detailed information on energy usage in a household says a lot about the residents of the flat. So which device is used, in what time. It's even possible to conclude not only from the data that the TV is used, not only that the TV is used, but in a research project we find out that it's also could be recognized which program is with it. One sees the sleeping hours of the residents, the washing time, how many people are at home in a certain time. One can from outside see the cooking time, and many more information that can be easily concluded from the energy consumption. So for example, a police in Texas in the US use electricity data to detect marijuana plantations. So it's used to find out whether the people doing something criminal by observing the energy consumption. Or another example in Australia, such data was passed to debt collection companies to get more information about certain people. Smart meters also enable the energy provider to shut down power supply remotely, for example, if bills are not paid. This is not possible in a world with an analog meter, but it's simply can be done as soon as such smart meters are used. On the other side, smart meters have a lot of advantages. So there is a political will that these smart meters are rolled out. Here, for example, the statement and the expectation of the European Commission. The European Commission says, to date, member states have committed to rolling out close to 200 million smart meters for electricity and 45 million for gas by 2020. So that's very, very close. Or another statement of European Commission concerning the rollout of such meters is by 2020, it is expected that almost 72% of European consumers will have a smart meter for electricity, while 30% will have one for gas. So, and this is going about here all the European countries. So you see the different speed the people done. And of course, there are also some regulations. Also some regulations in the different state member countries about the legal use of smart meters, about the way they can be used, about the data that are allowed to analyze and the data that are not allowed to analyze. But this shows that also this area provides a lot of question marks concerning privacy, how privacy, for example, needs to change in future to make more use of such technology, to discuss the boundaries of using such technologies and the risk. Concerning security and privacy, we have to say that this is in a relatively early development: smart homes, smart TV, smart devices, smart meter. So a lot of vulnerabilities can be found around, and we will see for sure many attacks, many misuse in the next time.